We make decisions, and our decisions make us. You have something special. You've got greatness in you. When I look at this picture with my brother and I, born in an abandoned building on a floor in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, and I was labeled educable mental retarded. They called me DT, the dumb twin. No one could have told me by investing in myself and learning how to communicate, how to present myself, how to speak to one-on-one or small groups or large audiences, that it would dramatically change my life. I'm 77 now, and I'm looking for people who are serious about becoming successful, about becoming a category king, on how to tell their story about themselves or about their business, or how to monetize their dreams and make a difference on the planet. If that's you, I want you to reach out to me. I'm going to teach you how to tell your story, how to use quotes, how to use humor, how to make people laugh and feel good and cry in their tears. Oh, let me tell you something up in here. People say we have the best training program on the planet and train more successful people than anybody on the planet. And you can be the next one. This is your time. This is your moment to turn adversity to your advantage. But you gotta be hungry. You have something special. You got greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Bye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Life's Milkshake Moment with health coach Joe D.
Welcome to Life's Milkshake Moment. We started with just that preview of the Les Browns, the global voice, to just give you a feel, a flavor of just what my life has been being amongst his greatness and being hungry for speaking and learning hope and everything else that is involved with me for the last 13 months. We know that we're going to get into that voice, that greatness that is inside of you today. I am Dr. Jody Bear, and it is my privilege and my pleasure to bring you in to Life's Milkshake Moment. Life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely, and when you do, life will be oh so sweet. It is a life of hope. A brief little tidbit about me: 42 years as a health coach and holistic nutritionist, and my hope motivational speaker, one of the daughters of the Les Brown today, and a best-selling author, New York Times best-selling author herself, is epitome of this quote by Helen Keller when she says, emotions must be felt with the heart. And when you feel those emotions, you will never be at the mercy of them. Never at the mercy of them. 100% passion, focused emotion. That's what we're going to be feeling and experiencing here tonight. Do you know me? Little Jody, a small town girl in Montana. My mother gave me hope. When did she give me hope? She gave me hope when, as a young widow woman, she gave me piano lessons and singing lessons. She saw that as a young girl, I was 5 years old. I could sing. I did. She said, Jody, follow your passion. You are going to give others hope with your music. Well, I became a classically trained vocal musician because of my mother's hope. I went and sang the concert stages of North America and over in Europe. It was a thrill of a lifetime, be able to go in and just emote and give people that experience. On my way one day, I'm on my way to the concert hall in St. Paul, Minnesota, St. Paul Chamber Orchestra, on my way to singing the leading role of Handel's Messiah. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Driving my car, rehearsing. Next thing I know, broadsided by a Lincoln Continental. My next waking moment, I am face down in a surgical halo. Where was my hope? That's when my mother came in to me the next day, and she looked up at me and said, Jody, the doctors only see what they see. They don't know who you are. So I reached down in the hope that she'd already given me over and over and over again. I reached down into my emotions, making them focused into my spiritual pillar, to my true north, and going ahead and going in, that I wouldn't be captive to my emotions. No, I would feel them, feel the loss, being paralyzed from the shoulders on down. But this is the rest of the story, ladies and gentlemen. I left that hospital bed and I walked out of that hospital 6 months later. And I've been running ever since, giving people hope, healing, opportunity, positivity, and empowerment. And this epitomizes the daughter of Les Brown, my distinguished guest here tonight. That's why I started today. And we started with Les Brown talking about his coaching. There is greatness in you. There is greatness in you. And it begins with hope. What is your hope right now? What is your hope for the future? Because you want every bit of your life out of every single day. Les Brown says, what if you treated each day as if it was the best, most amazing day that you could ever put together? What would be your life of hope? What would be your life of hope that you would transcend to others in that E word? You go into positivity and then you go into empowerment. I can truthfully say that our distinguished motivational speaker and author today, Sumaya Brown, just like my mother gave me hope, hope is in the essence of her story, her message, 100% passion, focused emotion. This is the code word. Are you ready? NMW. No matter what. No matter what comes out of your blue, whether you've been broadsided, whether you've been knocked down, as Les Brown says, if you've been knocked down, fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. There is hope. I can truthfully say it was one of my amazing honors as a classically trained vocal musician. You heard my intro music with Alicia Williamson. There is hope. There is hope. I was just honored enough to sing those notes, those high soprano notes in her Grammy and Dove Award winning song. There is hope. There is hope for you. There was hope for me when I was broadsided. There was hope for my mother when she poured into me. So I'm asking you a question. When you get broadsided in life, ladies and gentlemen, what do you do? Where do you go? How do you come out of those situations to give yourself hope? And how do you give hope? Because when you get it yourself and you give it away, you become a Band-Aid for someone else's pain. There's plenty of it going around now, isn't there? You see, health, as I've taught countless thousands, tens of thousands of people and clients that I'm humbled to say, and on stages all over North America. Health isn't something you do, it's who you are along life's journey. And hope is the same way. You see, on Life's Milkshake Moments on KP Media TV, we focus on one of these pillars, these 6 pillars of human experience. The first is spiritual, because you have to have your spiritual pillar right there with you, covering them all. Then you go into physical. Without a physical body, what do you have? But then we come to emotional, because emotions feed into the spiritual and also the physical, then mental, social, and financial. So really, when we talk about the emotional pillar of human existence, as America's top foundational health coach, I believe that everything has a foundational moment. And that foundation of the emotional pillar, is hope. Les Brown has this amazing quotes when he said, he always says, you got to be hungry. He says, live from the hunger of your heart. When you fill your heart of what you hunger for, your mind will find a way to achieve your desires, and your desires are found in that emotion. So get ready after this commercial break from our sponsor, Ignite Publishing. When you hear this, when you feel this, when you experience this, hope and happiness, just be inspired by Ignite Publishing. And then it will my just amazing honor to bring up Les Brown's daughter, motivational speaker, as high as if she was 6 feet tall in her own stature, Sumaya Brown, after our commercial break.
If there's one thing you should do today, it's wake up and be happy. Before you get out of bed, before you open your eyes, before you reach for your phone, check an email, look at a text, or do anything else, you ask yourself inside your mind, what's going to make me happy today? And you wait for the answer. You lie there, not moving, not thinking about what you have to do or what you should do, but instead think first, what's going to make me happy today? And then wait for the answer, because let me tell you, your body will share exactly what it is that will make you happy that day. Little things can make you happy. Being with your family, spending time with a friend, cooking, baking, doing a craft or a hobby. There is definitely something your body wants to do that will make you happy. Exercising, playing, enjoying the company of others, reading, writing, journaling, working on your next book, meditating, exercising, stretching, having a bath, taking care of yourself, looking after your body. There are so many things that you can do right now today that will make you happy, and all you have to do is ask. Ask yourself, what will make me happy today? Sure, there's lots of things we should do, lots of things we could do, lots of things we feel we're supposed to do. But in truth, what we're supposed to do is do what makes us happy. It's so easy. Every day, wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what's going to make me happy today? And then do that. Go after that. Make that happen. Of course, you got to do all the other stuff, but do what makes you happy. Also, set time aside for it. Make a plan. Structure your day so you get all the things done that you have to do, and then do what makes you happy. Be with your kids. Be with your partner. Be with yourself. Do what makes you happy each and every day, and I guarantee you, guess what? You'll feel happy. Your life will be joyous. You'll trust yourself. You'll recognize the things that you need, and you'll know that your voice and your commitment to yourself matters. Do what makes you happy. That's what it's all about. Eventually, you'll get up every morning and make sure that you do what makes you happy first. And then you'll get on to the other stuff. And then you'll do what you have to do. And then you'll do what you should do. But eventually, over time, if you get up every day and do what makes you happy, pretty much your whole day will become what makes you happy. Your work will make you happy. Your playtime will make you happy. Your chores will make you happy. The things you have to do suddenly will make you happy because inside, happiness rules. Wake up every day. Ask yourself, what do I need to do to make myself happy today? And do that. Go after that, and happiness will fill your life, and your whole entire day will be filled with that. Happiness, the way we're supposed to be, the way life's meant to be, the way we love to be. Enjoy that and ignite your life with happiness each and every day.
Boy, we're igniting this screen on KP Media today with Life's Milkshake Moment. We just heard Mr. Brown say, you got to be hungry. Happiness. Now we're going to be talking about hope. This is a 3H principle. I didn't even know that it was going to work into that. It just sort of evolves on this live stream. It always does. This is what I know, what little bit you will know, and you will know so much more about Sumaya Brown after you not only hear her, see her, but you are getting ready to experience her. Sumaya Brown is the daughter of renowned motivational speaker Les Brown. She is also a speaker, trainer, educator, and contributing author to a New York Times best-selling book entitled Teaching Hope. She'll be talking about that. She endeavors to empower others to achieve their dreams through inspirational and motivational principles. Because just like I say, health isn't something you do, it's who you are along life's journey. Sumaya Brown, hope and who she is, it's just not something she does, it's who she is along life's journey. She is that person. She is that empowering person. She is that motivational person. She is that person that gives you hope. Now, ladies, you heard this on the Power of a Woman Ignite Your Life event when we had the amazing, amazing summit, live summit on empowerment for Women's Health Month in March. I met Sumaya Brown when I was attending a Les Brown event in Orlando. I live outside of Orlando, and it was the Drop the Mic event. I don't know about you, but women just even talk in the restroom. Now, ladies, just give me a little love in the comment section when you say, ladies, just say me, me, me. If you've got a husband, he knows that. Guys, if you say you've got a wife, she does. Just put it in the comment section. You're going to know that we even talk in the restroom. Well, I saw this beautiful woman washing her hands. I was getting out of the restroom, going to do the same thing, sanitized. You know how we do. It's COVID era. And I thought, what a beautiful woman. And she said, are my shoes tied? I said, girl, I don't care whether you have the laces, no laces, with that body and that hair and that. Then she turned around and that smile. Who's going to even know? But then I got a hug from her. I saw her name badge. There were enough people in the participating audience that I could have gone the entire 2-day workshop and not have known that this was Les Brown's daughter. No, it was Les Brown's daughter. I saw Sumaya Brown. I said, oh, you must be related to royalty. That's how real her love, her empowerment, her motivational principles, it's who she is. She gave me a hug like none other. And thus our relationship began. Sumaya Brown, I am so delighted and just privileged to share these next few moments on Life's Milkshake Moments again with KP Media, just you and me having a conversation. Welcome, Sumaya.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You are just one lovely woman. And we didn't even know that our backgrounds were going to match. That's like crazy good, crazy good. So Sumaya, welcome to you, telling us a little bit about you personally, anything that you wish, and just how was it? I know you get this all the time. How was it growing up with a famous dad?
Okay, a little about me. I'll take that part first, and then I'll go into the famous dad part, which tickles me on the side. What could I say about myself? I'm a normal person. I'm a regular, everyday person. There's nothing exceptional about me except that I'm human. So I feel that all humans are exceptional. I have a passion for people. I have a passion for allowing people or working with people so that they can recognize and realize their purpose and their dreams. I have a passion for education. And just a side note, hobbies, I like watching films, television shows, reading books, things of that nature. And to answer the second part of your question about what was it like to grow up with a famous dad, I would tell you what I tell everyone when they ask me this: what was it like to have Les Brown as your father? And I just say it was normal. It was normal for me then, and it's normal for me now, because I was never raised, neither by my mother nor my father, to really celebrate his platform. And so I celebrate him as a person, as a human being, and as a father. And I honor, and I'm extremely proud of what he's done, and I honor that. But I don't look at the connection between he and I as something that's just so extra or extraordinary because he is well known or famous. It was definitely, a lot of people look up to him and you know, put people on pedestals, and he's a human being. He's an amazing human being, and he has a passion for people. So I watched him motivate people at a young age. I always love to tell the story about my father. When people ask me what was it like, the one thing that I do remember before my father was well known, he was always looking for people to brighten their day. He was always looking for somebody to motivate, whether we were in the grocery store, whether we were ordering food at a restaurant and it was a waiter or a waitress. He always treated everyone equally, of equal importance. And I think that that's a lesson that really stood out to me, because those same motivational words that I heard him speak to waiters and waitresses, that I knew that he would share to gang members and to people in the community who really needed it, those words traveled around the world, and they became a platform for him. But it started where there were no cameras. It started where there weren't large crowds. It started with people other people would look over. And that's something that I appreciate from him, that he still, even to this day, has a consistent heart for people.
Yes, consistent heart that came down. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I remember that ladies' room hug, and I remember that hug I got at the end of our event when you so humbly said, I said, would you and Serena speak at my Power of a Woman Ignite Your Life event? And that you just looked at me and said, do you have room for dad? And I thought, yeah, we'll have room for dad. It was just so adorable. And so I think this is very, very fitting that mine is smaller. I've got my Power of a Woman bracelet. We're going to go into your Power of a Woman story. You were just so inspiring. Sumaya, you don't even know this, but I got so many people that said, wow. And that's all they would say about you. Wow. Because guess what? Your dad taught you to be real. You were so real when you did your story, you went in, and as a speaker yourself, it was such an honor for me to have both you and Serena there with your dad. And I'm telling you right now, Dan Gilman, producer of KP Media TV, there is a reel that is coming, and there will be 3 copies, one for you, one for Serena, and one for your dad, Mr. Les Brown, because you said the 3 of you had never been on stage before. That just warmed my heart, something fierce. And I'll tell you, I want you to just share a little bit about that event, your Wonder Woman bracelet, as I called it, if you would, please.
All right. The event that we did a couple of weeks ago, wasn't a couple of weeks ago, it was at least 3 weeks ago. So recently, we'll say that, was great. And first of all, thank you for all of those lovely compliments. I greatly appreciate that. It was a very sensitive time for me because my mother passed away that same week. And I wanted to, because it was my official first speaking engagement that's virtual, I wanted to actually not cancel and just go forward, because I knew that my mother would want me to do that. And I'll say a little bit and then I'll get off of it so that I don't become emotional, because it's still fresh. We're almost approaching a full month to the day that she passed away. And so I remember we had a meeting. When I say we, I mean you and some of the other ladies. And you came up with a lovely suggestion. And this, I had no idea a few hours later that my mom would actually pass away. But you said, maybe we should have a picture of a woman that we admire and talk about it and talk about why that woman is important. And I knew that my mother was fighting for her life. So I knew that it could be any moment, any day, any month. I knew that it could be soon. I didn't expect that it would be that day, but when you said that in that meeting, instantly, I knew there's no other woman that I'm going to honor or I honor the greatest woman who is in my life, and that is my mother. And so I wore this bracelet and I said, and I'll say this and then I can get off of it because it's still fresh and I feel myself getting a little bit emotional because I love her so much. And I know she's with Jesus, but the reality is setting in that she's not on this earth with me. And I'm sitting with that, and I'm dealing with that. And that's something that I'm still digesting. So it's not as easy for me to talk about it as it was for me a few weeks ago when I was still somewhat in shock. But I will say that when I wore this bracelet when she was alive, I would borrow it. And I also have a similar bracelet. But people would always say, I love your Wonder Woman bracelet. And I would think this bracelet belonged to Wonder Woman. Or, I'm sorry, this bracelet was out long before Wonder Woman, a fictional character, existed. I wouldn't say that to people, but it's just something that I thought.
Sure.
But then my mom's transition to go be with the Lord, I thought, you know what? If someone says again, hey, I love your Wonder Woman bracelet, I'm going to say, you know what? Thank you. This actually belonged to Wonder Woman. I knew her personally. And that's other. There is no other woman that I could put on a pedestal like her. And she's all that I strive and aspire to be like as it relates to womanhood. And she's provided such a wonderful example for me to live beyond her so that I won't grieve to the point that I can't live and I can't move and go on with my life without her. But she gave me enough strength and enough of her spirit and enough of the Spirit of the Lord to go forward and to be strong and to be courageous, even in being broken and grieving. And I'm so grateful for the legacy that she has given me.
And what a beautiful, yes, you are Wonder Woman. I can hear that song right there. And gosh, we've got some time. I'm just looking to see. This is just, I knew, Sumaya, this was just going to fly by because of your heart. A New York Times best-selling author. Share that experience with our audience, would you please?
I will. Another amazing woman who I look up to as well is renowned educator Erin Gruwell. So for people who are watching who aren't familiar with her, Erin is the teacher who was featured in, I believe it was the Focus Features film that came out several years ago called The Freedom Writers. And so a lot of people, I've heard a lot of different people talk about Erin and the film, and they say things like, oh, one teacher can't save the world. But if they actually ever heard Erin herself and heard her as a trainer, as I have been trained by her, and I consider her a mentor, she always puts it back on her students. She will let you know and tell you to your face and tell an audience in a heartbeat that Hollywood films, not talking about that film, but just in general, that portray teachers as saviors and as people that just fix everything are they're fictitious. But the real heroes in a real classroom is not the teacher or the hero, it's the student. And so she has empowered those Freedom Writer students that she had in the late 90s when I was in school, who are still today with her, educating and inspiring and empowering people. And so during my course of going into becoming an educator for K through 12 and then eventually just secondary, high school, teaching English and humanities, I was trained by her. And a part of that training, we had an Oprah moment. And those guys, she's very bubbly, more bubbly than she is portrayed in the actual film. But she goes, guys, I have a surprise. And she has us do somewhat of a drum roll. And the next thing you know, we have something under our chairs. We pull it out. It's a little laptop. It's like back when the little mini laptops first came out. And
Sure.
that we were going to be writing a book. So we were going to be doing the second version of the first book that she did with her students, the original Freedom Writer Diary. And we were going to be doing a Freedom Writer Teacher's Diary. So this is going to be chapters of anonymous teachers that are writing about significant events in their life. And I'll speed this part up. So my particular chapter, it's anonymous, so I'm not going to give away which chapter that I had, but the book is called Teaching Hope. You can get this book on any platform, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere like that, or even the freedomwritersfoundation.org. You can also purchase the book there. But my chapter was very unique, so much so that I did not want to talk about my chapter. And she knew, I knew her personally, so she knew some things about me that I did not want to disclose. And she persuaded me to disclose those things in a book. And so I'm very comforted in the fact that I don't have to reveal which one of those stories it belongs to me. It's nice to be on the other side of that story now and to look back and see how that story has built me into who I am. But just wrapping it up, within 3 days of the book being published, it became a New York Times bestseller. So I'm
3 days.
Within 3 days. So I'm super humbled by that and honored to work with not only Erin Gruwell, but the Freedom Writers and the amazing Freedom Writer teachers.
And so, Sumaya, it's kind of like in 3 days he rose. 3 days you became and I'm not being sacrilegious, it just came to my mind. And 3 days you became a New York Times best-selling author. Just go ahead and give that one more time before we go on, Sumaya. What is the title of this book, please?
Okay, this book is called Teaching Hope. And it is
Hope.
Authored by Erin Gruwell, the Freedom Writer teachers, and the original Freedom Writers. And they have some more books that are coming out. So if you want more information about the book Teaching Hope, or if you actually want to purchase a copy, all proceeds go to the Freedom Writers Foundation, which provides scholarships for students that are entering college. They do so many community service activities and events for students. So it's definitely a wonderful investment, but it's also not what you would expect. You don't have to be a teacher to buy that book. It's a very real book about the life behind teachers. It's not always about what happens when you're in the classroom. It's about what happens when you're at home. What are you thinking about? What are some things that are going on in your life as an educator? And it's really empowering. It's a great conversation, and it's juicy too. If you like a juicy book, if you like a good book that has some interesting stories in it, I would definitely recommend that you grab it for sure. And again, it's on all platforms, Barnes and Noble, Amazon. If you Google Teaching Hope, if you go to the freedomwriters.org website, you will be able to find out more about that book. And not only that book, but all of the books that the Freedom Writers organization is publishing. They are well worth it.
Beautiful. And think about this, Sumaya, here Erin is doing, and I've heard, but isn't that just typical? Once again, your famous real father, legend, mentoring you. It does not surprise me that you would be with the #1 educator, known educator, to mentor you along your life's journey in education as well. That so fits, because birds of a feather flock together. It's no coincidence. So let's just shift gears, if we can, to recap what you shared last time when you were on KP Media for Women's Empowerment Month. If you want to go back, ladies and gentlemen, so where is that event? You can go to KP Media, and it is under events.kpmedia TV. It's right there, and you can watch the 5.5 hour hearing how women just poured into all the pillars, went starting with spiritual, and that's where Serena was. Then it was physical, mental, emotional, social, and financial. Top experts just pouring in. And your speech, Sumaya, was so amazing, as well as Serena, of course. And then we had famous dad. I just think I'm going to now call him famous real dad. Okay. You spoke about just be. And that so fits in with what I've said about health isn't something you do, it's who you are. Just be. So remind us about some of those points that you mentioned. I just, and then we can have some Q&A about that, but just talk for a few minutes about just be. Would you please?
Absolutely. So I thought about hope in the context of how recapping would tie into hope. And I thought about entitling this recap, which isn't really like a speech, but just entitling it, How to Be Hopeful in Hopeless Times. And so how can you be hopeful in hopeless times? You can just be. You can just be hopeful. And there are a few things that I talked about last week. I talked about being still, being present, being gracious, being intentional, being of service, being grateful, being bold, being teachable, being unstoppable, and being you. And so just to give a brief recap of what I talked about, the first thing, I didn't cover all of them because it was about 8 minutes, so I wanted to stay within my time frame. But the first one that I covered was to be still. And I talked about the importance of waking up in the morning and having that quiet time with yourself. And for me, I mentioned that I am a Christian, I am a believer. And so what that looks like for me is starting off with prayer, starting off in the Word of God, being still before I do anything else so that I can have the direction that I need for the day, so that I can lay any burdens down that I have on my mind that I may have had from the night before, maybe from lack of sleep, maybe from stress or anxiety or anything that I could have been dealing with on a personal level. I can lay that at the feet of my Lord, and I can be focused, and I can take in His word, take in His strength, take in His power. Now, for others who are not believers or are not Christians, that may look a little different. It might look like just being still, turning electronics off, being still, putting yourself away from other people, spouses, children, whatever you can do. If you can find a place to sneak away, even if it's a restroom or wherever you can go, and just be quiet, just be still, collect your thoughts, try to gather your thoughts and just still yourself, just so that you can have some time before you start to go and be busy. The other B that I talked about, so be still, and then I talked about being present. It's highly important to be present with people in a world where we're so busy, we're filled with electronics. We really don't, as a society, as a global society, sometimes we can lack in emotional intelligence. I'll give you an example. If you ask someone how their day is, and they actually tell you how their day is, ask yourself, am I really listening for how their day is? Am I listening am I asking and listening because I really care? Or do I want them to just say it's okay so that I can move on to the next thing? I think that because we live in such a quick and chaotic and fast society, it's really easy with this digital world, especially coming out of the pandemic, where you were so kind of like, to yourself, to just be to yourself. But when you're talking with people, when you are meeting people, regardless of whether they're famous or they're not, regardless of who they are, people are people, be present, look them in the eye, sit with them, be with them, engage them. Let them know that they matter. Let them know that they are important. Be still, be present, and be gracious. And I do want to say that I also said at the beginning of my little speech a few weeks ago that I'm not an expert at all. I come to you humbly. I come to you more so having a conversation. And this is a teachable moment for me too. So as I'm giving these words, I'm also taking them in and applying them to my own life. So be still, be present, and be gracious. As you meet people, it is so important to be gracious to others. I think one of my biggest pet peeves is seeing a waiter or waitress get mistreated. Maybe because there was a time in my life where I wasn't a waiter or waitress, but I was a hostess, and I've had plenty of jobs where I've served others. I just love that kind of stuff. And as a teenager, what other jobs are available other than like just serving others and starting off like that? But you'll be surprised that just sometimes people can just be so nasty, so disrespectful, so unkind. And if there's just no reason for it, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what they're facing. Even when people are experiencing challenging times, they could just be on the verge of ending it all. And just one word or one bad look could send them over the edge. So I think it's highly important to be gracious and to be kind to people. Now that doesn't mean being someone that people could just walk all over, but it does mean to be gracious to others, to be kind to others, to be respectful to others. So be still, be present, be gracious, and be intentional. Be intentional about the things that you do, the things that you say, the things that you think. This is not perfection. We as human beings will make mistakes. You will make mistakes. I can promise you, if I can't promise you anything else, I can promise you that I'm imperfect, and I can promise you that I will make mistakes. But allow those mistakes to work to give you a greater knowledge and a greater understanding on how to move forward, so that those mistakes don't have you, but you can use those mistakes as a point of reference to move forward and to grow. So just be very intentional. I think sometimes we can be so haphazard as people, and sometimes, if you're just not naturally a structured person like myself, I'm not always structured. It depends on the situation and the circumstance. But life requires, especially when you're looking at goals and dreams, or even just in anything in life, it does require a high level of intentionality and being intentional. So the next one, be still, be present, be gracious, be intentional, be of service. Look for ways to serve others. I don't know how many people who may be watching battle depression, but I can imagine that after this pandemic, you could have definitely, if you never dealt with depression before, you definitely could have had a little bout of it, maybe a long bout of it during that time. I know personally that I have dealt with depression before. It's not a stranger to me. And one of the things that has helped me get out of that dark hole, that once you're in it, it's very hard to get out. But once you climb out of that dark hole, one of the things that helps is, even while you're in it, look for other ways to serve others. Get out of yourself, get out of your mind, your problems, your issues, and look for ways that you can actually help someone else. If you can't think of anything, just stop, be still, be present, look around, and look for ways to help people. There are people that have needs that you are able to meet, whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally, whether it's socially, in any capacity. Think about ways that you can meet other people's needs. Be realistic. Don't overextend yourself, and don't do it out of a grudging heart. And I'm speaking to myself as well. Say no when you need to say no. Speaking to myself as well. Say yes when you need to say yes, but be gracious and serve others. And then be grateful. Be grateful when you are trying to have hope in hopeless times. It's a way for you to, gratitude is a way, once again, for you to recenter and refocus your mind, your thoughts, so that you can be more intentional about what you feel, and really being honest about what's really going on in your life. Because when you have problems, like we all do, and you take the time to be grateful, and you look for ways that you can say, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for that. This could have happened. Okay, yes, this did happen, and I didn't want this to happen. But at least I can be grateful for X, Y, and Z. Those things will keep you grounded, will keep you out of that hole of depression. That will start to, if you're in it, it'll bring you out. It'll start to lift you out of that hole. So it's a way to kind of just honor the goodness that's in your life, to honor God if you believe in God, to be grateful, to allow yourself to truly be thankful, so that you don't get in that hole of complaining and being a chronic complainer, which is natural for us to do. I think it's just a very natural thing. So it's something that you can be very intentional about. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Be still, be present, be gracious, be intentional, be of service, be grateful. I also talked about being unstoppable, and how my father, Les Brown, who I believe, in my own personal, humble opinion, is the best motivational speaker out there. And he has a message called Be Unstoppable. He has a phrase called Be Unstoppable. And it's basically, when you experience life, you got to keep going no matter what comes your way, no matter what you face, you have to keep going. You have to be relentless. You have to be resilient. You have to have hope in hopeless times. You have to push forward. Why? Because it's not about you. It's about the people that need to hear your message. It's about the people that need to look at your example and see what you've done and what you've lived out. And then the last thing is to be you in all of your bees, and being still, and being present, and being gracious, and being intentional, and being of service, and being grateful, and being unstoppable. Be you. There's only one you. No one can replace you. You are special. You were chosen. You were put here for a reason.
Special, chosen. And I'm going, as you're going through those, Sumaya, I'm thinking, be still, be present, be gracious. The chat was just blowing up. Intentional, be of service, grateful, unstoppable. And then your dad's favorite number is 7. Leave it to one of his offspring to make it 8. Okay? Because children always do it one better than their parents.
Right.
These 8 characteristics, my goodness, just think about these being you to give someone hope. When I talk about healing, opportunity, positivity, empowerment, boy, this is what it is to be still. And if you're not still, then you're going to miss everything, aren't you?
Yes, that's so good. That's so good.
That being still and you can be you.
Mhm.
Isn't that what the pandemic did for us? I know it did for me. I've never stayed at one place that long. I didn't know that I could get 3 weeks to the gallon of gas. I mean, I didn't know that was possible for the woman who runs the roads. And so of those 8, I would just say, to just wrap this up, which one just do you focus on if you have to pick one per day? Because I mean, if you could see these comments, people love you, and there's because of your heart. So which is the one you say, I'm going to focus on this one today?
Well, thank you to the people in the comments, and thank you again, Jody, for having me. I would focus on being still. That's a challenge for me. Even though I said, oh, at the beginning of the day, I'm still, but that's something that I think if I spent more time being still, and I'm going to put myself out there and say this is something that I'm working on, and I know that I'm not alone. That stillness is kind of the thing that kind of brings everything together. Because
Mhm.
not still, then everything else can fall apart. It's more or less the foundation that you're laying for your life and for your day. And so that is something that I'm being challenged in, is just being still, stopping, especially when you're grieving, right? I'm
Yes.
busy. I'm constantly trying to stay busy. And I'm being challenged to be still, and my still times are uncomfortable for me because I am grieving. And so other people may have challenges for being still for various reasons. Maybe stillness is foreign to you. Maybe it's something that you're just not used to doing. You feel like you're slacking or you're lazy. But I think that your soul and your spirit and your mind and your emotions can benefit from stillness. And again, I don't say this as an expert. I don't say this um, on a high horse. I say this humbly. I say this to myself first. This
Yes.
words that I have to chew, eat, swallow, and digest when this call is off. So being still, I think, would be, out of all of these, that's the one that resonates with me the most.
Because it's just be in that moment. When y'all know, if you've been with me and on this journey, if you go to health coach Jody is spelled with 2 E's.com. You go to my blogs. I've got 10 rituals to rock your day. Samaya, I start out. Doesn't that sound like me? Yeah, I saw you smile. 10 rituals to rock your day. But what does it start up? It starts out with gratefulness, just a simple qigong move. But in there are 4 of the 10 things. Doesn't take long, maybe 30 minutes. There is a qigong walk to get that energetic flow, but in there is at least a 10 to 15-minute meditation. If you're looking, ladies and gentlemen, for a way to be still, if you go to my YouTube site, Dr. Carol Magda, who is just, I honor her, because what she says when people are in a depression or you're in grieving, because somebody is going to hear this. And what she says in her mantra, in her meditation, she says, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy. You cannot say that 3 times without just feeling exhilarated to come out of your being still time, out of your prayer and meditation time to say, boy, let's go. So that was my addendum on there. And you, if you want to just be with Sumaya, if you want to contact her, you say it's Sumaya Brown. So she is the sum of everything. So it's SUM and then AYA. She is the sum of everything that the apple didn't. I've said at the beginning, the apple did not fall far from the tree. She's all this and a bag of chips, but I usually don't talk about chips unless milkshake moment. You've given us 8 different milkshake moments to digest. So it's Sumaya Brown 2022. Any parting words of wisdom? I know there's still a lot in there, as your dad would say, up in here, but just give us your last minute or so, please.
I would just say be gracious. I said be gracious to others, but be gracious to yourself. we are not perfect. We are imperfect people who, as a believer, I'm an imperfect person who I'm allowing God, the Lord Jesus, to perfect me in my personal walk with Him. You're being perfected. You are being perfected, and it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to miss the mark, as long as you go back to the basics, and you do what you know to do, and you do what is most important. I would also encourage you just to be around people. Community is extremely important. If you are battling depression, if you're grieving, if you're dealing with challenges, if you're reaching your goals, whatever it is, community is so important. And so even though we're coming out of a pandemic, if you don't have a community, find one. Get one, go online, try to find people you can meet up with, be safe in doing that, but find community, because it's so important going forward as we achieve our goals, our dreams, as we navigate life, the challenges and the joys of life. It's better to do it together than it is to do it alone. So I would encourage you in that.
Be still, be present, be gracious, be intentional, be of service, be grateful, be unstoppable. Sumaya Brown, that is you. Thank you for just giving us all hope and a whole lot more, because that is you. And I'm just going to say, let's do this again. What did I say last night? We have just scratched the scratch. Pinky promise, Wonder Woman, that's who you are. So back after this commercial break. Thank you, Sumaya.
Thank you, Jody. I appreciate you so much for having me.
We will say this was our first book. This is Ignite the Hunger in You with the incomparable Les Brown with Ignite Publishing. It does say pre-order, but we're going to be upgrading that commercial break. We really are, because Ignite Wisdom, of which I've been honored to be project leader of this next book, the wisdom in that book, the wisdom of how you can get to the other side, as Sumaya said so eloquently, to be still, to be present, to be gracious, to be intentional, to be of service, to be grateful, be unstoppable, be you. This is what I know, that all of these motivational 8 need to be in your life, because it's necessary. It is necessary to accept, as Les Brown says, the responsibility for you in your life. Know that it is you that will get you where you want to go, no one else. And in this Ignite Wisdom book, if you're interested in getting a pre-sold copy, personally autographed by me, Jody Bear, in another story that will be another one of my life's Ignite moments, just DM me at Health Coach Jody. That's Jody with 2 E's. DM me and I'll give you instructions to do this. So in concluding, I wanted to just mention to you, as you know, we had a great time with 5 weeks to Pristine Clean. I've done this every single May now for almost 12, 13 years. This time I decided it was 5/2 to 22, 2022. Why wait? Lose the weight. Why wait on all these 8 motivational pillars that Sumaya gave us? Why wait on you? Why wait? Lose the weight. We know that in this pandemic, now 85% of all people are considered morbidly obese, and 70% of all children in North America. This is easy, simple, effective. Foundational Health, America's top foundational health coach. Over 1 million pounds, now 1.1 million pounds of toxic fat lost, only to have a 5% recidivism rate. We will be doing this in 6 classes. 6 classes. Not only this, you get a personal consultation with me, a private Facebook group, and the early bird price. The early bird price, you also get 2 supplements that some of my go-tos in getting the weight off. That's for the first 25 that sign up. So just DM me at healthcoachjody.com. And you can also, you can email me at jody@healthcoachjody.com. So email me at jodee@healthcoachjody.com, or just DM me on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can also go to Instagram at healthcoachjody, and you can get a hold of me. And remember, on Wednesdays, high noon Wednesdays, we do a Health for Life Clubhouse. So we talk about just amazing offers. And I also want to make this announcement that KP Media is bringing together, and I'll give you more details in the upcoming weeks when we hit May 1st, our first Thursday, the 19th of May, is called Talk to the Doctor. Come play in our sandbox on a personal health topic. Doctor talk. What do you want to answer? We're going to have the first topic, may be stress, it may be sleep, it may be inflammation, coming from different modalities of health. Myself, as a holistic nutritionist health coach, Dr. Mike Van Thielen, acupuncture physician, also on KP Media TV, Dr. Bill Janacek, chiropractor and NLP expert, who was my guest about 2 months ago, and several other modalities as we delve in for one power-packed hour about how to just eradicate, eliminate, deal, and come in to a solution with a really common health problem. Doctor talk. Come play in our sandbox. Noon Thursday, the 19th of May. And we'll be doing this once a month here on KP Media TV. So as I wrap tonight up, remember hope. What does hope over here stand for? To heal. Go down in to you and your own healing. Go up in opportunity to your true north. Come in positivity to not only talk about living the life of attraction, the law of attraction, but to be, as Sumaya said, to be the law of attraction, and then to go out to first empower yourself, then you empower your circle and the world. My quote in Ignite Wisdom, our new book, is, when you empower yourself first in your world, the world around you is empowered forever. Go take this message of hope. Go empower someone. These phenomenal insights of Sumaya, each and every one of these pillars. Teaching Hope, the book by Aaron Burrell. Be still, be present, be gracious, be intentional, be of service, be grateful, be unstoppable, be you. You're the only one that can do you, no one else. And then listen to the whispers of your own wisdom, for in them is life, and in life there is hope. Remember, you can find me on healthcoachjody.com. That's JODEE, 2 E's.com. Also on social media at healthcoachjody.com. And if you want to just do old school, just call me 800-820-0854. That's 800-820-0854. And remember, health is not something you do. It is who you are along life's journey. And always, always remember, life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely, like Sumaya did in her 8 points of just be. Those are each milkshake moments. And when you choose those ingredients wisely, your life, and in this hope and emotional pillar, will be oh so sweet. And until next Wednesday, remember, this is Dr. J saying, have a healthy Wonder Woman day.